All right. Let's make sure it's hooked up. Hmm. Hey, Sarah Adams. Let's see. Let me make sure that we're on. I see a YouTube there. Hang on. Okay, we got a few people in the house. It looks like we're getting suppressed a little bit on Facebook. YouTube looks like it's coming online. If these shows resonate with you, could you please share to one group or to your page? We'd appreciate it so we can stay above these algorithms. And thank you all for your continued love and support and contributions that allow us to keep doing this in these energies that we're all feeling. All right, let's see here. Let's bring Pamela up. There she is. Unmute. Hello, Pamela.
Hello.
How are you doing? What's happening?
I'm great. How are you, Todd?
I'm good. I'm feeling pretty good today. Yeah, the last couple of days have been pretty good, energetic. I'm excited about what's happening. How about you?
Feeling it too. And actually, I happened to tune into your live this morning when you were in the car, and I could feel your excitement. And I want to say I happened to. It's just the synchronicities are ramping up so beautifully. So there you were on your way to somewhere. And yeah, I'm feeling it too.
Right?
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's like all the work that's been done by so many people is all coming into fruition now. It's actually palpable, visceral. I mean, it's real. It's you know, so much of our experience has been dimensional and interdimensional and visions and
yes,
activations and our communion and connection with the different faces of the universe. And now it's happening in physical matter.
It is. It is. And it feels, it's such a time of deep paradox. And as we're talking, I'm aware, wow, it's cool. There's, you know, right here.
Yeah.
I was fine until we came on, and it's evidence, you know, this clog that comes in this center, the communication center. I feel like the bridge we're on right now is from the heart to the throat, which is the most potent bridge of our opening heart and our expression. And yeah, these times are so full of paradox and intensity and, you know, all of the outward fear and chaos and turbulence. And then beside that, there is this beautiful energy that for me has been feeling like birthing. And for men who haven't the opportunity to feel that, you are feeling that, because when a woman is about to give birth, there is a palpable feeling of something taking over. And side by side, I say it's riding that edge where pain and joy collide. And that's what it feels like we're at right now, is this amazing place where pain and joy collide, and we're birthing something so deep in the mystery. Deep in the mystery.
Yeah, no, I like that, because it's merging the two polarities, you know, joy and pain. That's the great incubator, the womb of the holy darkness, the mother goddess, right?
Yes, yes.
I had received several messages and comments regarding this show. You reached out to me, and I'm so happy that you did. And everything's perfect timing. It took a while to get you on, but
perfect timing.
But you know, you've been doing this for a long time, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not that familiar, other than what I looked into once we became friends on your page and some of the work you do. But how long have you been doing this? It seems like you've been doing it quite some time. I couldn't find anything that said how long, but when did you wake up?
Well, a long time ago. And I want to say that probably 15 years ago was my great awakening with certainty a great dark night of the soul that brought me into the light through an experience 15 years ago. But I have to say 15, when I was 15 years old, my sister died in a car accident the night before I started grade 10. And I really feel like that experience I was so young, and it brought me to my knees, my whole family. And
Wow.
I remember being 18 and going to the Banff School of Fine Arts. I was always singing and dancing and creating and expressing. But when I went at 18 to the Banff School of Fine Arts, I remember sitting in the sulfur hot tubs with one of the pianists who was in his 40s. And he just said, there's something about you. You're so much older than the other 18 and 19-year-olds. And I said, yeah, I know. And it's because I've tasted the sharpness and sweetness of mortality.
Yeah.
So I feel like at 15, I could have chosen to shut down and be bitter and afraid, but something cracked open in me at that very young age, Todd, that said, this life is a gift.
Yeah.
We don't know how long we have. So and then I went into, I'll say, mainstream performance and got a degree in drama and English and started performing in theater and musical theater. And I always had this desire to express, but it wasn't until my children were born that something profound was birthed in me. And what's interesting is I had always been performing in festivals and every summer, and I had the opportunity when my kids were 5 and 2 to step back. I didn't have a festival or a season to go to that year. And I started hanging out with 2 other brilliant artists, actresses who were 10 years older than me that were very cool about hanging out in the park, literally just like the time we're in now. I remember that summer literally being almost sequestered away from the busy and the routine and the performing and the outward external gratification of what that is with an audience. And I just hung out with my wee babes. And all of a sudden, I found this amazing channel of energy and inspiration. Like the writer in me was tapping me on the shoulder, and I'll tell you, it scared the bejesus out of me because all of a sudden I had songs and I had poems. And when I began performing, it was without a mask. It was without a character.
Wow.
Who is this? Who am I?
Wow.
So I found myself riding that edge of deep vulnerability. And that was 20 years ago. So I started feeling into my intuition, and I had crazy ideas where, I say crazy, but 15, 16 years ago, a friend of mine who was at Banff with me when we were 19 was teaching dance in East London. And she got a copy of my first record. My first album 19 years ago was called Tripping on the Truth.
Wow.
And I'll tell you that the algorithms on my website at that time, I had the American military following me 19 years ago.
Are you
Because
serious?
I had a record called Tripping on the Truth. So I'll tell you, it's interesting that I've been doing this work for 2 decades. You haven't heard of me. It's been such an underground radar thing that I've been doing because for 2 decades, I have listened to this higher voice and the girlfriend that said, come to London, England. I think you would do well at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, because folk festivals weren't picking me up because I wasn't a folkie. And the messages and the songs and the words that were coming through me were prophecy. They were codes. So I found myself innocently and naively answering the call. And I have a very supportive husband, my soul partner, my twin flame, who has always encouraged me. And he said, go, get a ticket, go. So I went to the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival in 2003 and 4. And that was really the beginning of when I took, I'll say seriously, this gift that was being offered to me to be a sound alchemist. So from there were people that I met that I ended up going to Sweden and other places, and the travels started happening, but always it was from this deep place of trust. And what I know is that when I would plant my feet on the ground, I said that when I used to sing musical theater and light opera and Gilbert and Sullivan, and I trained for years as a singer in the 3D world, I used to sing from about here up. It was very from the voice box, the head, here up. I always sang from my heart, but it was a very different experience. And when I started receiving these songs, these words, these melodies, some of them took weeks or days to write, but some of them came fully formed, a pure download from the divine. They landed right in my womb space, right
Wow.
down into through the roots of the earth. And I found that when I was singing, something started to happen. And time after time, people would come up to me and say, "Oh my God, you made me cry." Sometimes men would come up at concerts and say, "Nobody makes me cry. Nobody makes me feel." So what I began to understand is through this lifetime of having sat in so many dark nights of the soul where I thought I would die and actually wished I would. Sarah Adams, who is watching with us, she said, "Well, you're a daughter of Persephone. You came here to go so deep into the waters of grief that when you sing and when you convey what you're given, it's not conceptual. This is not something you have had an idea about, but you haven't lived." So I realized that when I would sing, people would feel it as this earthly kind of soul experience that was not altogether always comfortable. As in, they would be feeling the Christ consciousness. Whatever they had hidden in them would arise.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I pulled up this link,
That I put in the chat box.
Into the Void. Is Into the Void, is that an example of?
Well, if I can just, say about this, interesting. Wow, I'm clearing so much right through this fifth chakra today. Thank you. And everyone that's on board, we're all doing this right now together because we're becoming the receiver and transmitter. I have to tell a little bit about Into the Void. In January of 2012, I had an experience much like what we're having right now on
Okay.
planet Earth. I was in a cocoon. I literally was in my bed. I had an ascension flu. It came on quickly. I had chills, fever, aches. I really just got up to have sips of water, little bits of food for 5 days. And this was, I really believe, the first wave in January of 2012 of the echo of the precursor to what we're experiencing now.
Yeah.
And I just literally listened that I was to go to bed, lay down, sleep, receive, shed. It's like going into the cocoon where, the caterpillar turns to mush and then the liminal cells shift. And I know that I'm not as much of a seer. I'm more kinesthetic and I receive auditory messages. And after 5 days of this flu fever, what I feel was ascension flu, Todd, I opened my eyes and in front of me in my bedroom was like credits in a movie, like
Really?
words in this crazy script scrolling down. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm thinking I'm fevered. I'm, I'm feeling this is some kind of strange effect of this illness. But I'm watching it and all I could feel was this expansive sense of beauty and wonder and that all is well. So I went and got paper, wrote for about 2 hours. I wrote about 6 pages. And then Higher Self said, this is a tone poem for humanity at this time. This is the seed, but it is going to grow. And at another time, it will blossom. And it just
Wow.
makes me cry because that was this poem and Higher Self said, the first page is the poem. So interestingly, 2 dear friends that you've had on this show, John McIntosh and Ingrid Esno, are dear, dear soul friends of mine. And 5 years ago, I was on a 5-week tour of Europe and Ingrid said, come to Norway. So I ended up at Ingrid's beautiful home at the foot of a fjord in Norway with John and Ingrid. And we were sequestered for a week. So there's this amazing theme of going within, and we barely went out for that 5 days. And they were beautifully mentoring me. And we, had laughs and good meals and watched movies and talked about what's unfolding in the world. And they then made, about a year later, I sent them this poem and they made this video.
Is that right?
Into the Void. Yeah.
That's a powerful triad.
It's a powerful triad.
You know, I've never heard, I'm gonna, if with your permission, I'm gonna put this video on. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
But I've never heard something you just said. You know, there's a lot of talk about first waivers, second waivers, and all that stuff. And there's no doubt that there's people that were born, you know, in the 50s and the 60s, and
yeah,
that seem to definitely be some, you know, at least on the linear timeline, front runners or whatever. And even people that were born before that we've had on this show. But what you said about 2012, you know, you said what, January 2012?
It was.
And I remember, you know, and I think the reason I'm saying this is because as the individual goes, so goes the collective, you know. I remember January 10th, 2012 was a big deal. And although it doesn't look exactly the same, but energetically, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
A lot of poetry started really coming out. And I got that same message. I got this message. I spent a lot of time walking on the street for about 2 years. And I kept getting, like, you know, you get images.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of like you. I guess I'm not as visual as some people, although it comes sometimes.
Right.
But I kept getting this message of the written word, like it was our like legacy, like, and it was code. And I understood it was code. Even when I started making videos and all these weird anomalies would happen, I realized the code add as many frequencies to this ever expanding vibration because it carries all this code, lighting, sound, lyrical, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember that very distinctly. And to your point, so the years went by and I didn't just see this in myself, but I saw it in other people who'd been doing it like you a lot longer than I had. But there was always this drive to create something new. Let me connect and find that magic again and put it back out there and put it back out there. And then around the time these Facebook memories started popping up, you know, every year on the anniversary, I started to get I remember having this big download, and it was like, you guys have done the work. It's been done. It's already seeded, just like you said. And now, you know, I pull stuff up that Morgan wrote 1, 2, 3 years ago. Same for me. And you can see how it's more resonant now. Yes. You know, like how there's a bigger field of I guess observation or you know, exposure or something. But yeah, I never heard anybody say that in terms of the first wave. But whether it was the first wave or not, something definitely happened on or around 2012, no doubt.
Well, yes, beautiful, and thank you for sharing your experience and expression. And you know, I think I went into that flu. It was right after the new year, the 3rd or 4th. So I could look at the date of, I bet it
crazy.
I bet it was January 10th that this.
You know what? That's crazy. And see, I spent, and I was sick, and maybe I had the ascension flu. Yeah. But I actually put myself in a motel room because I was homeless. I had a car at the time. Yeah. And but I for 10 days I was in that hotel room. And I never left. I had water, I had a few other things, and and it was just this grind, this dimensional grind, which I really wasn't familiar with. And when I came out of it, it was January the 10th. I'll never forget that. So you can't make
and I've heard you say, I think we're actually the same age. I've heard you say the year you were born. So it's the you know, synchronicities and parallels are amazing.
You can't make this shift up.
No, you can't. You just can't.
So this is Into the Void. I'm excited to listen to this. I'm getting chills.
John McIntosh and Ingrid Esno made this beautiful video, and so much love to them.
Right on. Let me pull it up and let's play it. 6 minutes and 22 seconds. We'll be right back.
And it's for this time, Todd.
Right on.
For this time.
It's coming.
There's so much one can do before a fresh stretch of canvas. Stand before the silent stare of its wide open invitation. Its bold nothing and everything. Prime it, light it, prepare the paint. Dance around the edges until the jagged emptiness calls you inside. Nowhere to hide. There is so much we can choose in the moment before we dive in. We dream, we distract, we wait, we drive, we travel to places, and there we find others, wide open on this razor's edge, traveling blind, seers in the dark. Bandages off, we offer the light our tender hearts naked and newborn. We find a beauty there so rare and radiant and true. Our hunger sparked and fueled by this fresh stretch of joy. Something glimmers in the distance. The mystery urges you on. There's so much one can do inside the long stretch of winter. Draw the curtain back on your wildly busy life. Stand before the canvas of the fresh year with its calendar of Sundays and sunsets, laundry and longing, with resolutions bravely inked. Outrageous, you decide, to look so far ahead, and like a hibernating bear, thick with your extra coat of forgetting, you head back to bed. There's so much one can dream inside a long stretch of slumber, and you sleep until your bones unravel, until the deep goes deeper still. And there you find the golden prize, the pilot light, that spark within the ebony of your fear. The place where beauty whispers and a raven takes you back into the void on wings of light and prayers that hold you still. And in this stillness you find release, a peace that bears all pain, a mother's arms that hold you close, and a love that calls your name. There's so much one can become in the cradle of love, all sorrows rocked away. The great mother invites us to dance in her milky way, the sway of hips, of lips, of laughter. Dance us beyond the dry land of the mind, to the shimmering sea of presence. Drenched in the gold of the secret we hold, we discover we are the canvas. No land beyond, no gaping emptiness, no outward successes to measure. We close our eyes, and there, inside, we glimpse the spark, our treasure. Bold nothing and everything lies within. The jagged emptiness softens. The light shifts. The canvas blazes. So much love to sing upon these pages.
That's powerful. Hans Christian. Wow, that's a powerful, powerful meditation.
Thank
And
you.
I'm a poet. And
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
like,
Get it.
that's just like, wow, that's amazing. There's so much said in that,
Mhm.
you know. So the reference to the mother, the great mother,
Mhm.
like
Yes.
that's so applicable.
Yeah.
It's been such a such
Uh,
a given
yeah.
always. But I mean, I'm watching that thing like when it talked about being cradled in her arms, and I can remember
Yes.
being on the street, not even having to that point, having a relationship with, let's say, the Christ energy, or angels, or even some of the
Mhm.
things that came to me early on, which were masculine divine essences,
Yeah.
other than Mary Magdalene.
Right.
But I remember like laying on a park bench and hearing these messages, and they were like full of strength, like this poem describes. And it was like I knew I was in her arms,
Yeah.
and I knew that this wasn't even real.
Right.
And there was a purpose, and there was this power. My masculine was gone. It had left the building. It was like, oh, this ain't working. But
Yeah.
yeah, so what does that mean to you, the great mother? And
Mm.
where, and you said this is for today. This is for this time period.
Mm.
What is the great mother? What's
Ah,
that all about?
well, I am tears are coming to me as you describe your experience, and then experiencing this video again, because it's 8 years ago that the poem came to me, 7 years ago that John and Ingrid created it. But it feels like watching it with you today was the first time, because it's like these words, they're so for now. We are in this now moment. What the great mother is asking us, inviting us to do, is to surrender
Yeah,
to her embrace of the deepest love that we could possibly comprehend, that to this point we haven't been able to,
yeah,
because love has been conceptual, it's been concretized, masculinized. Most people have triggers and fear and resistance to it. But as I was listening to that, um, I feel like I was being rocked and cradled. Here's how I say this: by my own voice.
yeah,
And I go back to the place where the entry point, which was in my heart, and this is where I say this bridge we're moving through right now. Our hearts have been so defended.
yeah,
And what we're cracking open right now on the planet is the messages and the constructs and the ways that we have been afraid to feel. And when we're in the mother's arms, all of that armoring falls away.
yeah,
So to me, what the great mother is a feeling. It's so beyond the mind.
yeah,
The great mother is the feeling of skin to skin. It's the feeling of a voice, a lullaby. It's not even the content necessarily of the words, but it's the melody. It's the frequency of love.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And
the
they and
frequency of love.
and then of course the spirit of pure intentional collaboration. So
Yes.
like you pulled it down as a conduit. Your voice is a mechanism in it. Their contribution's a mechanism in it, and it's like a remix. Like
Yeah,
we remix what's there into even a wider, uh, a brighter illumination.
absolutely. And I have to say that John and Ingrid, we are here to co-create and to collaborate and to mentor each other. And
Yeah,
I received those words and was in awe of them, moved by them. A deeper meaning came when they collaborated with that imagery and
yeah,
making it 3D. Multiple. It's more than 3D. It's a 5D experience, and what I'm seeing coming back to it now, Todd, is it's hilarious actually, because it's talking all about there's so much one can do in a long stretch of winter. There's so much one can become in a long stretch of slumber.
Yeah.
This way we've been asked to be sequestered in our own hearts and step away is that depth of no land beyond, no gaping emptiness, no outward successes to measure. We close our eyes and there, inside, we glimpse the spark, our treasure. Bold nothing and everything lies within. And I think about, I'm getting shivers, the jagged emptiness softens. And then I feel like this is describing the event. The light shifts. The canvas blazes. That's us. We're the blank canvas. So much love to sing upon these pages. I just felt that when you played it now, in this now moment, I have shivers from head to toe because we are the canvas.
Yeah.
We are the song. We are the notes. And this is the symphony of transformation we've come to be in together. And this love that's rising, that's the excitement you're talking about. I'm feeling it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And like, and so this whole, like what the name of it, Into the Void.
Yeah.
Like being in her arms. I remember writing those words and posting them up to Soulspeaks from a $7 phone with no pictures.
Wow.
And saying, I am in the arms of Mother Creation. I am in the, I think I said void. I'm in the void of her holy darkness where I don't know anything. And that's kind of like what's happening for me. And I know as an individual goes, so goes the collector. So I know that's available. I know I'm not the only one. And this just happened last night. I mentioned on the show before. So when we connected last night and I'm sitting there and things got silent, the room was full of beings and I was trying to, and they're just, again, almost metaphoric of this frequency, call it 5D or whatever. And I thought, okay, shut your mind down and just kind of align with it. Right. And then I heard you have to open your heart more. And it went through this whole dialogue of the more I trust the great void and I go into the void that you've written about, the more love I'll feel. It is a surrender, it is a trust.
Yes.
And I think what I found was that I thought I had my heart open but I just realized there was an opportunity to open it more.
Right.
In that moment.
Oh,
Very
yes,
similar,
yes.
very same type of feeling. And I actually had over the last couple nights, a lot of replay of that whole journey from like 2011, 2012. All the days on the streets, all the different things came popping in that were like dramatic, but I saw them from a whole different place. It was amazing. Maybe that's some type of indication of what we're all coming full circle.
I would think so. And when you describe your void experience, literally, what is the void other than the darkest place we can imagine, which is actually the full plenum, because the dark is where everything is generated. And it's also the light is, you think about when we turn, that beautiful knowing that we are the light and the dark. You spoke about this in your live this morning about the fear that's coming to us.
Yeah.
Everyone's deepest fear is, or it's really being felt in the collective, to be cut off from our sources of distraction.
Yeah.
To be put home, literally, however that looks. We can't run. We can't look away. And we are being invited through this incredible collective invitation into our own void. Yeah. To befriend the uncertainty, to befriend the fear, to befriend the darkness. And I know it's not comfortable. I say this with the deepest respect for anyone who is navigating a difficult time right now and feels the groundlessness, feels the fear narrative that's going on right now. I want to say, to imagine that great mother, anytime you feel that fear arising, to counter that with imagining those arms around you and tapping into the power of the love, because the fear is false. It is false evidence appearing real. So we have come here for this time to blast this wide open, right? And that void space, what I love. Okay, so we've known on the planet for decades now. And in the past 5 years, 2 years, everything that's been happening, Australia on fire, the droughts, the floods, we knew we had to stop. But there was a trajectory where humanity just would keep going until we just fell off the edge. So this full stop we're seeing is such a profound gift. And in this void space, what I know, and I'll say has been my knowing for 20 years, is that we have come to this planet to embody beauty and creativity and harmony and peace and collaboration and joy and the festivity of the spirit that rises up. Each one of us is a unique, whatever you want to say, snowflake, a ray of light in the spectrum of the rainbow. We're all needed right now. Yeah. And our creativity has been suppressed. Yeah, most people, have been afraid of it, or it's not encouraged, or it's diminished. It's, parents say, oh, that's just flibberty gibbet. Don't bother. You can't make a living doing that. Right now, what are we seeing, Todd? People in Italy. Okay, we look at this. The balconies are being flung wide. And what the dark could not count on or fathom was the depth of the human heart and the depth of love that is now being expressed. I'm calling it the democracy of divinity. Because everyone who's been locked away behind a door in an apartment, the imagery of people opening their doors and creating music together in the street from where they are, I just have chills again, because this is the yearning for what is essential. And what we are starting to see is that our connection heart to heart, our creativity, our joy, our love, our music, our words, our art, loving each other fearlessly and fiercely. This is what we've come to do. And look, the lid's off. Yeah. This is happening.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of talk about Atlantis lately, and I don't really get caught up in all that stuff, but we had some stuff come through last night, and it's been coming through. And I guess the way I would explain it is from my own perspective, just my own, not even talking to Morgan about it or anything, is just that what I was getting and what she was channeling as well. I mean, the way I was kind of processing it and trying to and understanding it and integrating it was that we've had all these things that we've been and done. And I know people say everything happened at the same time and all that stuff, but we're conscious here right now and there's something happening. Mm-hmm. So if you look at Atlantis, it's like the creator and the creation started this dance, which is the way the whole thing works anyway.
Yes, yes.
But that in every other memories that we seem to be pulling back collectively, be Atlantis, Lemuria, whatever, to talk of galactic wars, other planetary incarnations, the Frankenstein, the creation becomes the lesser god, and that whole mechanism comes into place. I've always felt that the human, and I'm an old history buff, that one thing that's happened throughout history, even if it's been a shadowed love or an unconscious or unaware love, the human hybrid whole soul species has always moved the energetic football up the field by way of love. Yes. Like that's the human's gift, like this human love to the universal family. And what I see happening now, what I was going to say is the way I would explain it is that there's a good argument to me could be made that we've actually moved this to the highest frequency ever. Yeah. Even though there may have been more technology, in Atlantis, or maybe there wasn't or whatever. The fact is it all starts and stops here with our thoughts that we carry forward, that we hold and we carry forward. And the basis of it is what you just explained from these people in Italy on the balconies, the expression and generation, just like that song, that poem of the love frequency.
Yes.
It's like we have enough memory recall to have the highest level of discernment we've ever had. No matter what it looks like out there, no matter what happens, I am
Yes.
soul. I am soul. You are soul, and soul
Yeah.
is God. You know.
Without a doubt. Okay, so now you have touched on something that has inspired me to share something else, because as you talk about Atlantis and Lemuria and the technologies that they had, we have.
Yeah.
And again, the heart and the throat, we talk about this fourth chakra, the fifth chakra of expression, and our human heart is the greatest engine of manifestation, transmutation. It is the alchemy. It's the source of alchemy, right? So I actually had set up my mic here,
Oh, perfect.
and I wanted to share a song. And interestingly, what came to me, I'd forgotten until you started talking about it, was that 10 years ago, I had a reading with a fellow who was channeling Saint Germain. And Saint Germain says to me, dear one, we have known each other in many lifetimes, and especially in the time of Lemuria. And he said, you were one of those who sang the waters of pain into oblivion. And I said, pardon me? And he said, there were a group of sylphs, singers, sirens, however you want to describe these beings in Lemuria, who, as the waters were rising and the pain was rising and life was being lost, and he said, you took on the role as one of these singers to raise the love vibration above the waters of death, so that the scar tissue of this pain would not go forward in time, that the vibration of love would carry forth. And he said, the melody, he was channeling and said, the melody was what you would know in your time of that song, that very festive New Year's song called Auld Lang Syne. And so I thought about Auld Lang Syne. Now that's an odd song, but I went to the piano and I picked out the first two notes, the interval that starts, should old, and it's very interesting because it's the first two notes of a song that came to me 15 years ago, again, that number 15, called Love Is All. And it starts on a D and goes to the F sharp. And I've been told that F sharp, it basically, the song circles around that F sharp, which is the tone in the Pyramid at Giza. So there are all of these sacred geometries in this song. And it came to me at a very dark time, when contrast of being a dark time. It was also my son's birthday, a very light-filled day, but I was called on this November day, 2 p.m, all of a sudden the skies became very dark. It was almost like it was night outside, and I went to my piano. This was one song that came to me of a piece, completely as a direct download. And I have to say that 2 days later, someone very dear to me took her own life. And at her exit point, her message was, through this song, that we are love. Love is who we are. All of the materiality of which she had much means nothing if we do not have love. And that this is the essence of this song that came to me, that also I feel is an embodiment of the divine feminine.
Perfect.
And I normally stand to sing this, but I'm feeling called to just sing it quietly here sitting, because I'm in my little Zen zone.
Yeah.
Holy wind, blow through me, cast away my suffering, sing your truth down to my bones, for love is all. Love love is all. Holy wind, I'll do my part. Make a sail of my heart. Bind me to your ship of love. I hear you call. Love is all. Sweet Sophia, make us wise. Shakti, fill us with your fire. Oh, Shekinah, make us whole. Oh, love is all. Love is all. In a world of war and woe, wash away these tears that flow. Warm our hearts so cold with fear. Draw us near, draw us near. May all beings be set free from their pain and suffering. Holy wind, the angels call for. Love is all. Love is all. Holy wind, the angels call for. Love is all. Love is all.
Wow. Wow. What do you say to something like that?
Thank you.
That was, I was actually pulling up another song. I was going to pull up another song, at least to play as an outro. And you said it, that was amazing. And you were talking about this channeler with the Saint Germain, talking about Lemuria, and you were one of the sirens that dissipated. Was it the waters of pain so they wouldn't go forward?
Dispelled the waters of anguish, is how he described it. And it's interesting because in this lifetime, it's very interesting. Years ago, I tried to do something else, Todd. It's, this is not an easy path, and it's not ever been about easy, but the directive within me to continue to sing light into the darkness, it's been it, like in my poem, it's the pilot light. It is that spark that we all carry to extinguish that, what came to me in the poem, that the ebony of your fear. And I think that that's what we're all here to extinguish right now, is this dark fear cloak that we have ingested in all ways for centuries. And we're being asked to release, to let it go. And that's why I said, I think the opportunity in this moment, our golden opportunity, is to feel, to reveal what's arising, to be released. I used to say to be healed, but I don't feel like we need to heal anything. What we need to release is the lie. And what we are being called to release and express is this light, this joy, this frequency, these codes, this expression. When I close my eyes and sing, I feel that beautiful Native American saying, Lord, like St. Francis said, make me an instrument of thy peace.
Yeah.
The Native American tradition is make me the hollow bone. And all I've asked over the years is that I may be purified and purified and purified until when I close my eyes to sing, I get out of the way and I allow that sound to come through.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the Holy Mother. That's the feeling of love. I was just going to say,
yeah.
It's
and
a
the
song.
part of, and the part about the trust in me, was it trust in me or trust me?
In Love Is All that I'm just saying. I sing to Sophia, Shekinah, and Shakti. Sweet Sophia, make us wise. Shakti, fill us with your fire. Oh, Shekinah, make us whole. But, I don't know if I sing, not the word trust, but you got that feeling. There's very much a feeling that, because right now there are so many timelines that are like, this is happening. What is happening?
Yeah.
And in truth, all of the swirling that is of the uncertainty and fear and chaos and turbulence, at the heart of all of this, if we could just tap into the great love that's emerging right now, we are merging with the light, because we are the light. We're just moving any impediments to the truth of who we are. So that, that's what you're doing. And I love watching your show, because I come back to that phrase that came to me this week, the democracy of divinity. We've been lied to, and the so-called leaders, we know now that every one of us came here to be the change, to be at this time, to share our voice, our light, our experience, our ray within that beautiful spectrum. And I love watching you bring everybody on, because there's this beautiful experience of everybody sharing with the democracy.
It's like a tapestry, isn't it?
It totally is.
Like a tapestry, and it's so cool, because it's like, those dark nights, it took all the pretentiousness out. It took all the mask out.
Oh,
let go or be dragged. I mean, it was like, you want to keep doing this, or let go of that label, let go of that trauma, let go of that shame, let go, but you really, you hit on something that I think that I'm feeling it. And it's like we've always had this knowing. This is why we all did the atypical or crazy things that we did. Went against the grain, or you know, you
Yeah.
tried to get away from it. I tried to get away from it. And we always end up back to where our heart aligns, and it, yeah, what's beautiful and expansive for the soul is expansive for the human, but somewhat painful. It's not
Well,
always.
yeah, and I love you describing it. I always say, call it being dragged through a bush backwards, right? It's the great
Mhm.
scrub down. And what I was going to say too is this is the time of great authenticity, because talking heads that we are right here
Mhm.
in the world as we've known it, there have been filters on all of this,
Yeah.
and so much ego and a way of being that I'm going to say again is the lie. And what you are inviting people into is the fullest expression of their authenticity, who they are right here, right now,
Yeah.
and an invitation to share. Like, we're coming out, like we
Yeah.
are coming out of the closet, because also
Yeah.
this is we're coming to the end of the hour, so it's a too big a subject to go into, but we also have had huge challenges of, I mean, I'm sure you have too, your time on the street. And the dark night of the soul I went through 15 years ago was an attempt to take someone very near and dear to me away from
Yeah.
this life. And we've had we've been taken to our knees with the deepest experience of vulnerability, and lifetimes that we've been beheaded and hung, and all of those um, ancestral traumas that we've had to clear, to in this moment to stand up and say, I am love, I am divine love, I am divine truth. And what is happening now is we are now this beautiful talking hearts. I'm not going to say talking heads, because we're talking hearts,
Yeah.
inviting people to trust their love, to trust their truth, not to be afraid to speak up, speak out. And that even means going against the grain in
Yeah.
times like this.
Well, there's a lot more there's a lot more mirrors to look at now too.
Yeah.
And I think this whole knowing we've had is kind of like I don't know if if we've hit the tipping point, or but I always try to like break things down to the human
Yeah.
in terms of communicating something, at least taking that into consideration. And so it's like we've kind of known there was this mission, and there was a bunch of weirdos around the world that we could go into these Facebook groups with and interact with, or spend a week with, like you did with Ingrid and John.
Yes.
And but it was still that
Yeah.
iffy thing, like, you know,
Yeah.
hey, maybe I should go get a job, and maybe I should get a house, maybe I should be a normal person.
Yeah.
But it seems like the purpose, the soul mission, as it as the higher aspects, or whatever you want to call it, integrate into this human
Yeah.
uh physical merkaba. I mean, it's like that's the 100th monkey, or whatever you want to call it. There's now, it's now accepted, it's now mainstream. It's like, hey, we're mainstream, this is what we're doing here. It's not all this other stuff. And it's actually, well, it's like a tsunami. I mean,
It
it's
is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what you just said reminds me of something I just read, a quote by Richard Rudd, who wrote the Gene Keys. And, what an amazing book that is for the times we're in right now. Basically an instruction manual for the soul. And it
yeah,
is so powerful. And Richard Rudd said, we have been addicted to the non-essential
yeah,
when our souls are yearning for the essential. So you and I and all of us, that however you want to say, have been on the fringes, who continue, like, you talk about drilling one deep hole out in the world. People are drilling the holes, trying to find the things that are going to make them happy, take away the pain, addictions, distractions, if I could only dig another hole, maybe I'll feel better, right? When all along, there are those of us, call us what you will, way showers, light workers. We've been drilling deep, digging that one love, harmony, peace, whole, and we just keep going, right?
Yeah.
And at
Yeah.
this moment, what we're realizing is, I feel, it's like Richard Rudd's quote, all of the seductions to distract and procrastinate and delay this amazing tsunami of light, this creativity that we have come to express, that is those little holes that just, inevitably makes us feel exhausted and drained and the walking zombies. So right now we're what we've always been saying. We're understanding that one deep hole is actually the essential.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the essential.
I'm digging
Love
it.
is all. Love is all. 3 words. I don't have a tattoo. I have friends that have tattooed love is all different places. I may still get one. But honestly, that song and those words came to me 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, the Beatles said it too. Other musicians have. Love is all there is. But it's even shorter than that. It's love is all. It's the triune of the Mother, Father, God, Holy Spirit. It's those 3 words. Love is all. And it's interesting, when I sing it, somebody actually said, it sounds like a singing bowl because I mostly sing the vowels, right? So for people to just take that in, and when they're feeling strained or stressed or this uncertainty wearing away at them, turn off the news and just chant to yourself, love is all, love is all. It can be on a note but come home to the great mother who wants to hold you and comfort you and reassure you right now. That is the message.
Yeah.
Yes.
Powerful, man.
Yeah.
So how can people find you? And do you have anything you want to expand awareness of? You got any events coming up? Are you a practitioner as well?
I am. Yeah, I am. Well, who's doing events right now? I am thinking about doing some online events and supporting people at this time. Yes, I do. I'm a sound practitioner and sound healer as well. We didn't get into, I have my singing bowls and everything here, but yeah, I do workshops and one-on-one sound healing. And if people want to reach out, they can go to my website. It's www.PamelaJaneGerrand.com.
That's easy.
Gerrand. Yeah, and you can contact me there. And I'm very happy to be a source of support and service of offering encouragement, solace, this mothering love. I really feel like, my business cards say voicing the divine feminine. And right now, that's what I'm giving voice to. So if I can be of service to anyone in any way, I am going to be looking to doing some online.
Yeah, that really, like the whole thing with the heart to the throat. We've received a lot of direct communication and guidance from the third energy that I guess we're part of having created, called Soulology. And one of the things that we were told early on is that it's a platform for the voices of the Mother Goddess.
Yes.
Which has been suppressed in all of us, which is that transparency, which is that, that frequency beyond embarrassment, and, hey, here I am, naked truth. And so it's much more than the literal,
It is. Yeah. And my higher self said, just tell them about your CDs. And if people don't have CDs anymore, tell them about your new, I have a cassette, not to play any cassette player, but it has a USB stick. I wish I had one to show you right now.
Very cool. No, I know. I've seen those.
Yeah. So I have my whole music collection on my USB, and higher self was actually just saying to me, because in the past week, through my poems, my songs, I've been writing songs for 19, 20 years. And a song that came to me in 2006 that's on my CD, Pray Rain, that actually has my song Love Is All that I just sang today. It's also on that USB stick. My whole collection's available on my website. Is a song called No Looking Back. And I wrote that song like 12 years ago, and I sang about, my dad used to talk about, I'm going to see a man about a horse, that metaphor, whatever
Yeah,
that
yeah,
means,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
the song was, I went to see a man about a horse. Of course, it wasn't really about a man about a horse. Went to see a man, said he'd read my cards, could see it in the stars, when I couldn't even see beyond my front yard. He said, "You've been on the fence for too long now. Don't want to slip back into the life you knew. Not ready to slip into this blueprint that's been waiting here for you. Oh, but darling, when you do, you're going to be like a train without a track, no looking back." So I have shivers because that song from 12 years ago, it ends with, "And all along, went to see a man about a horse." Of course, it really wasn't about a horse. All along, it was inside of me as I stood in my front yard. Every one of the songs that I've written, Todd, has come from this place. It's almost like they've been these secret messenger treasure hunt song codes. And a lot of times people in concert 10 years ago would go, "Yeah, it's a little deep." And I was told, you're attracting a small audience
Yeah.
because it's just the awakened ones are going to get it. But so all my songs are available for, one dear friend said they are filled with resurrection light codes. So medicine. for
Beautiful.
this time.
That's
Yeah.
on your website too, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Emerging. Is that okay?
Okay. I think dear
Somebody
friend
requested it. Somebody
Sarah
requested
Adams was asking for that. Yeah.
it. Yeah, so I'm going to play Emerging as we head out. So those of you,
Right.
please stick around
Okay.
to hear this expression called Emerging. And thank you so much, beloved sister, for sharing space with us and honoring us with your presence. I'd love to collaborate with you again, if you're open to it.
Yes.
Okay.
From the heart of my Herkimer crystal, I say thank you so much. Bless you. Love to
Yes.
all.
Thank you. I'm gonna play this song now. You guys don't leave yet. You want to hear this?
Which version is this? Is this My Friends at Good of the Whole? Is it a video?
I'm gonna let you pick it.
Okay.
Hang on. Let's see, because there's several of them.
My beautiful friends from Good of the Whole, Julie Krull made.
Can you see?
Know what?
Do you see it here?
Actually, you know what? No.
Oh.
And it is, you would have to go to Good of the Whole.
Good of the. Hang on, I'll do that.
Because it's a beautiful video that Julie
Is it
Krull.
goodofthewhole.com?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, hang on.
Or on their YouTube. It would be on their YouTube channel.
Oh, it would.
I would point you to them because Julie Krull is a beautiful friend. Made this video 2 years ago when they were doing Good of the Whole was doing a
Oh, I found
Love
it.
Lives Here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you click on their
Okay, videos.
should be in their videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking for an egg, scroll down. It looks like an egg. It's from 2 years ago, so it's going to be a while
Okay, this
ago.
is a ways down. I'm at 5 months, so here we go. We're getting there.
Okay. And Julie made this beautiful video for Love Lives Here. You're getting there. I'll see it when
There it is. Right here. I got it.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, perfect.
Right, here we go.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Good of the Whole. Thank you to all the groups that have been tirelessly and passionately spreading this message for years. Love you all.
dark embrace of night. I am the music of the light. You are the space between the notes. We are the one, the all, the most. We are
Powerful. Very powerful.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, we are
Pamela
emerging.
Jane Gerrand.com.
Yes, Gerrand, but yes.
Gerrand.
You
Yeah,
got
I
it.
messed everybody's name up.
No, you got it.
Apologize.
You did it well.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you. Thank you so much. All blessings to you and yours. I look forward to future collaborations.
Thank you so
You
much.
take care.
God. Lots of love. Thank you so much.
Peace out. Bye-bye, everybody.